This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction to every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And I guess the Rays only want to win when I do a postcast, as the Rays obviously had kind of a crazy loss last night. But that is for a discussion for never, because Rays losses are no fun. But we're going to talk about another huge Rays win, specifically how this was a big bounce back. The Rays didn't let this game kind of have any effect on the way they performed yesterday. They came out and took care of business. We're going to talk about, is this the best lineup the Rays can put out? We're going to talk about how consistent Littell was again, how he's just been rock solid this year. And then we are going to look ahead to how the Rays can win a series. But first, let's talk about how this offense is on fire.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Runs, 14 hits. I mean, this Rays offense has just been on a tear lately. They scored obviously 8 yesterday, 11 the day before. Kansas City, I thought they were really good, just maybe didn't get the breaks they needed in order to score more runs. But I mean, they had runners all over the base pass in those games. And then, you look at the top 7 in their lineup, top 8 in their lineup. Each of them had multi-hit games. Even Taylor Walls, who batted 8th, had another 2 RBIs on 2 sac flies. So this lineup is so dangerous. We talked about, the different ways as they can beat you. And we saw all those ways that they can beat you. It was kind of cool. We saw the different ways the Rays can beat you all in one little sample size. We saw Jonathan Aranda hit the 3rd furthest home run in Tampa Bay Rays history today in the first inning. So you see the pop, and you see Chandler Simpson just orchestrate so many different runs, but he manufactures at least one run. He's still second, gets a 3rd. Taylor Walls hits a sacrifice fly. So that, in a nutshell, in one game, just shows you the different ways that this offense just can beat you. And I've said it before, if you guys have listened for a little bit, and I'll say it again. I don't think this stretch that the Rays are on are a fluke, because when they've lost, they've come out the next day, except given the back-to-back losses to Boston. It's the only time they've lost back-to-back games during this stretch, and they've dominated. And after the Rays lost the back-to-back games to Boston, they went out and swept the Mets, who were the best team in baseball at the time. So the resiliency of this team is something that is kind of next level right now. The completeness of this team. There are very few teams in baseball that can be as complete as the Rays, whether it's with their pitching and defense, whether it is with, just kind of whatever the different ways the Rays can beat you, whether it's with the power, whether it's with the speed, whether it is with any of that stuff. So if you guys are in the live, make sure to leave a like and comment as well. So if you guys are in the live, leave a like and comment. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure to also leave a like and comment, and then join us live as well. We'll be live again tomorrow after hopefully another Rays series win. So, we've talked about during this stretch that the Rays are on, they have only lost one series, and that was to Boston. So, they've kind of been on a heater still, and it's the completeness that this team is playing with right now. And, very, very rarely do you see a game like yesterday happen. And yesterday was such an anomaly game. It tied, I'm pretty sure it tied the franchise record for runs allowed in a game for the Rays. So, so that's why let's talk about the big bounce back. The Rays didn't let yesterday's loss spiral into multiple losses, a game where they were up 6-0. They were in control against the divisional rival. And then you just kind of pay back for when the Rays came back when they were down 8-0. To the Orioles. They kept chip away. And the game was never close after that. And the Rays had to empty their bullpen, and they didn't let any of that kind of deteriorate themselves. Now they have a healthy bullpen going into tomorrow, a lot because of Zack Littell, and we'll get to him in a second. But it was just very impressed from this Rays team. And there's not a lot of things that this Rays team can do to impress me further nowadays. But they did one of them today. And it was not, anytime you let up 22 runs, anytime you lose by 14 runs, it's kind of easy to let that spiral. You know what I mean? So the Rays didn't do that. They were able to kind of stay the course, and were able to, instead of dwelling on it, they came out and they hammered Baltimore. I mean, this game was never close. And this was, to me, I don't know if you guys felt like this to you. This game felt different than yesterday's game when the Rays got up big. I don't know why. It was just kind of a gut feeling. Even when the Rays scored 6, it was like kind of an eerie feeling that the Orioles would come back. But right when the Rays got up in this one, I kind of knew it was wraps, because of how consistent the Rays have been playing, and their inability to lose back-to-back games, which is one of the greatest abilities that the Rays have. So it's also super important that the Rays have been playing this well on the road. It's been well documented. The Rays only have one series left at home before the All-Star break. They go home to play at the Athletics, and they go on the road for a 10-gamer. And then that 2-week stretch going out west is coming up too. So, it is one of those things that, I'm not going to ask the Rays to go. I mean, if they win tomorrow, they go 5-1. And this win today also clinched a winning road trip for the Rays. So I'm not asking the Rays to go 5-1 every road trip, but the fact that they are going to be playing above average baseball on the road, it is super encouraging, because that's where a ton of their games are going to be played coming up. So let's quickly talk about, is this the best lineup that the Rays can put out? And I don't say that like 1 through 9. I say that this was the first time in a while that Josh Lowe, I say first time in a while. This is the first time that, in a little bit, that Josh Lowe hit leadoff. And I think this is the best lineup when you go, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lowe, Yandy, Aranda, Caminero, Magnum, and then, whatever you want to fill in there, whatever you want to do. Hyson Kim when he comes back, and then, Cabby or Walls, and then Chandler Simpson. Or not Cabby or Walls, or Jansen or Thaiss, and then Simpson. I mean, you start to go look up and down that lineup, and it's like, where is the easy out? But I think it starts with having Josh Lowe lead off. And talk about a guy that's been on a tear lately. We talked about Josh Lowe and how he struggled in June. So about a few games ago, he's hitting right around 100 in June. Now he's up to 217, mostly because he has 3 straight multi-hit games, and including 2 RBIs during that stretch. So he's playing some really, really, really good ball as well. So I think him being at kind of the headline of that lineup, and then letting those guys kind of fill in after him, is just so important. Especially, I think Caminero batting 5th is so big for him, because they tried putting him in 3rd, 4th, whatever. When he's produced the most this year, it is when he's been batting 5th. So I also think that's kind of the secret key to all of this. But, man, you look at this lineup. Josh Lowe, multi-hit game. Yandy, multi-hit game. Caminero, multi-hit game. Magnum, multi-hit game. Chandler Simpson, multi-hit game. Not to mention, he also walked and then got into fielder's choice. Any way he can get on base, I mean, the Rays take it with how dominant he kind of is at this point. And then, we talked about the Aranda home run. Yandy hit one about 1,000,000 feet in the air. That was kind of like the extra dagger. How about Thaiss getting a triple? I wonder if that was his first career triple. I'm going to check that. Because, I mean, he was flying, absolutely flying off the base. And that was his first career triple. It was. So kind of breaking news for Matt Thaiss, who continues just to be a revelation at the backup catcher position. I cannot believe we went to Ben Warford and Matt Thaiss, who plays once every 3rd day, and it just always gives you a great at-bat. But we're going to talk about Zack Littell. We're going to get to our player of the game. We're going to get to our turning point, and we're going to look at it to see what the Rays need to do to pick up a big series win right after this. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever decided last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Price on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And you've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And for me, Game Time is the best, and because it gives you the seat view, so you guys see where you're going to be sitting before the game. And especially at Steinbrenner right now, the Rays only have one more series there before the All-Star break. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I know Taj Bradley has a bobblehead one of those days. I mean, it's a great time to get out and get to a Rays game. And not to mention, if you guys download the Game Time app and create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. You guys can get definitely 1 ticket, maybe even 2 tickets free with that code for a Rays game. So download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. So again, if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a like and comment, as we'll be getting to the comments mostly right after we talk about our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It's Zack Littell, and this guy has just been the epitome of consistency ever since, what was that? It was a start against, maybe it was either Anaheim or Texas early in the year. It was Anaheim where he gave up 7. Since then, he's given up only more than 3 runs one time. That was against Boston. But he's tied Shane Baz with Baz might have 8 actually, but he's in the upper half of the Rays, stats with 7 wins. And again, a guy that just doesn't overpower you. Again today, I mean, it doesn't have a huge. I'm pretty sure he had 4 strikeouts. Like, not a big strikeout number. That's not who he is. He had 5 strikeouts. He's a guy that gets that weak contact, only 3 hits. But he is going to give up the solo home run almost every game, and that was back again today. But again, when you only give up the 1 solo home run, you're going to take that because of how much he's in the zone, even though he did walk 2 today. But I didn't think his command was out of control by any means. But he's in the zone. He makes these guys put in play, and the Rays play such good defense, and he trusts his defenders to go make plays. And then anytime he punched out 5 like he did today, I think that's a bonus if you can get Zack Littell to punch out 5. But I also think Zack Littell provided us with a huge, huge turning point in this game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
After the Rays went up 4-0 in the first, Littell immediately got into some issues. It was first and second, 2 outs, and it was one of those. It was one of those things. It's like, oh no, is this going to be like yesterday, right? Ryan Pepio, after the Rays scored 6, couldn't get that shutdown inning, but Littell was able to, and I thought that was such a big moment, and it was able to kind of settle the Rays in for the rest of the day, rest of the game, because they went from never being able to not enjoy their lead, but have a comfortable lead for a while during their game yesterday, and going able to kind of have that sigh of relief to say, like, we shut them down, and now it's time to go add on. And of course, the Rays didn't add on until the 4th inning, but Zack Littell was able to give them that breathing room to allow that to happen. So I thought he was fantastic. I thought him getting out of that first inning unscathed. We always talk about. I think that the shutdown inning after the Rays score is always so crucial. And I think today, after what happened yesterday, it was even more crucial than normal. But let's look ahead to see how the Rays can take another series against Baltimore. 1:30 start tomorrow. So again, we'll be live around 4:30, and it'll be Taj Bradley coming off one of his best outings of his career against Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer, a guy that has had kind of sneaky success against the Rays. His last time out, 5 innings, 4 hits, only 1 earned. He was really good. Obviously, that was 2 starts ago for him. If you go to last year, he again went 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs against the Rays in September. So his last 2 outings against the Rays, he has been really, really good. So if we go back and peek at that last game to see kind of what happened, Brandon Lowe went 2 for 4. Junior went 2 for 4 as well. So Junior actually had one of the RBIs in that game. But again, I think the Rays, it is so crucial. It is so crucial that the Rays score first and keep the pressure on the Orioles, right? Orioles, a team that isn't doing good. I mean, we know all this stuff with the Orioles, but kind of keep taking the life out of them. Score first, score big again, and then let Taj go from there. Let Taj work with the lead. Let's look at Taj. Obviously, his last time out, 6 2/3, 4 strikeouts, only 2 hits. Kind of took that no-hitter. He retired, I think, it's for 16 batters. So, but what Taj we're going to get, because the 3 outings before that, he was awful. So hopefully that the new Taj we see is he can give us another quality start. He can go 6 innings, giving him 3 or less runs. That's all we need out of Taj Bradley. Not every time, because that's kind of an impossible question to ask every time he goes to the bump, but 75% of his starts you're hoping that he gives you that. So those are kind of some keys for tomorrow. And I'll be really interested to see how Taj Bradley, we know how inconsistent he's been. Of course, we've seen Taj go 7 innings, striking out 11 before, and when he played Houston back in early June. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can build on his outing from last time, or if he stays kind of inconsistent like he has been. So let's get to the comments. So if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a comment. We're going to get to them. Let's go to Cameron Van Pelt. He goes, Aranda and Yandy at first, Breathe at second, Caminero at third. Just look at the all-star starters, number of those positions. Yeah, it's laughable. And, I don't know. I get baseball is a fan's game, but I think the Rays should have 4 all-stars, and I don't think it should be particularly close, honestly. As you go to Mike, his broadcast kept showing all the stats and categories. The Rays ranked first in MLB in the last month. Yeah, they've been the best team in baseball over the last month now. I mean, it is just crazy, crazy, crazy what the Rays are doing. As we go to Gary, he says, Jonathan, what are your thoughts regarding the controversy generated by MLB and its supposed negotiating an alternative to Tampa for postseason Rays home games? Hard to believe this is not 2020. Yeah, and they wouldn't do it because of, the Rays and their situation. The Rays have just been screwed. They're obviously make the World Series of 2020, not at home. They have a really good team this year. They go far. once they get past to the ALCS, they're not going to be able to host games, and they don't have the seeding needed for a national game like that. And that's what it is. Is there an alternative where you could somehow add seats to the stadium? I do. I've been to Steinbrenner. You guys know how big the lots are out there. You can add seats, I think, anywhere. I think it's incredibly unfair for the Rays to lose their home field advantage if they make it far. They're punishing them for being successful just because MLB needs certain media guys to be there. I think it's ridiculous. If you give the Rays enough time, I know that you will be able to, the Rays will be able to figure something out. As we go to Mike H, and this is something funny that I also did see. He goes, "How's about the splash zone at Camden Park? Spraying fans with the hose. Steinbrenner could use one of those. I think Steinbrenner should get one of those. I mean, that is fantastic." As we go to James Keck, he goes, "This team can seriously make a playoff run. Super excited to watch them keep it going." That's a great comment. And it's something that I 100% agree with because they have everything. I said it before. I think the Rays are some of the few teams that the Rays are some of the few teams that can be top 10 in every statistical category, whether it's lineup, whether it's pitching, rotation, whether it's bullpen. I mean, they can just beat you in so many different ways. As Gary talks about Blue Jays and the Yankees both lost again. Yes, they did. The Rays are back to only a half game out of first place in the AL East. So hopefully this time tomorrow they will beat that. As we go to Mike H again, he goes, "What's going on with Zach Eflin?" I think the Rays just hit him very well. I mean, to be honest, the Rays are not a great matchup for Zach Eflin. The Rays kind of really have success against kind of these soft throwing righties. And, Littell, I think he can get up to like 94. But the way Littell is archetype or the pitchers that the Rays have a lot of success about. So it's just not a great matchup for him. As we go to Daryl Brooks, he says, "Magnum postgame interview said, I love watching his team play. I never know how we're going to win." It just speaks to how versatile the Rays are and how many kind of just different ways that the Rays can beat you. As we go to Zachary Tampa Bay Whitfield, he says, "This team is really good, but could we go out and add someone at the deadline, another pitcher or hitter? I wouldn't mind Ozuna from the Braves." I mean, he would probably cost a ton. He's one of the best hitters in the National League, but that's a good question. I think at bullpen that they could add another right-handed relief pitcher or another left-handed relief pitcher. They only have Clevenger and Montgomery, but I think if the Rays kind of keep up this pace, they would definitely look to add some bullpen, kind of another high leverage arm. And I agree with our Genesis Rays team would definitely not get B. Sellers at the deadline. But he said, "What starting pitcher would you go get?" I don't think the Rays would go get a starting pitcher because you got to think about it. McClanahan is going to come back around the deadline time, and that's going to kind of be their deadline starting pitcher acquisition, right? So I think it's more relief pitcher. And, I wouldn't be surprised if they add multiple. Remember they added Stevenson a few years ago and he was miraculous out of the pen for the Rays. I think they could look to add someone like that, but definitely someone like that. As we go to Carter Knuckles, and I like this question. Who's your favorite Office character? I like Kevin. He's silly. I personally like Oscar. I think Oscar is the best character in The Office. He's fantastic. So always good to end on a more of a lighthearted question. Zachary says, "Thanks for answering." Thanks for asking the question. I love interacting with you guys in the comments, especially after a big time Rays win. So I appreciate all you guys for joining. We'll be right back to it tomorrow, hopefully after another Rays win, hopefully with the Rays being first place in the American League East. Lots to look forward to tomorrow. So make sure you guys turn your post notifications on, like and comment on this video, and come join tomorrow for the Rays Postcast. We will see you guys. Then. Thank you all so much again for watching.